Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So one of the questions that was asked, often questions this nature asked, is it everything that happens because of karma? Is it the case that everything that happens is because of karma? Mm. And no, simply speaking. uh, you know, you know, the earth rotates around the sun not because of karma, because of cosmic laws, you know. Apples fall to the ground rather than float into the sky, not because of karma, because that's the law of gravity. You know, when bodies are generated, they have one arm on one side, one on the other side. That's not karma. That's just the way that bodies develop. You know? Seeds planted give rise to flowers, not because of karma. It's just seeds are like that. Even we get sick, not because of karma, because bodies get sick. Yeah. Mm. Things affect us because not because of karma, because of heat and cold, not because of karma, because of change in the seasons, because of natural calamities. You get a flood not because of your karma, because water rose. And you get hit by a truck not because of karma, because you weren't paying attention. So people get, you can easily get this idea of karma, something like destiny or predestination. Like, well, it's my karma. I was born this way. That's the way it is. Nothing I can do about it. My karma. And this is really not a helpful way of referring to this. Because karma, the word actually means something like action. So anything that stops action is not skillful. So an idea that you just have to give up, accept how you just be how it is, and not do anything about it because that's your karma is to be like this. That cuts off right view and right action. Right view says there is the good. There are causes and effects. There is the good. There is the bright. There's the possibility. Then action. You can do something. Right effort. You can apply yourself. And so the Buddha summed it up saying karma is chaitana. Chaitana means volition, intention, mental direction of the heart, where it goes, the quality of the heart that launches speech. Speech comes out because I want to say something. I feel I should say something. So speech arises. Chaitana. Mm. So behind everything that our bodies, when we consciously operate a body, there's chaitana. Get up, walk. So it's this runs behind everything. It sits in chitta. This is the law of chitta. Chitta has chaitana. Chaitana is the impulse to do something, great or small, bodily, verbal, thoughts, even the movement of the heart. So if the heart inclines towards ill will, there's karma, there's an intention, some movement. we maybe get irritated, and then what happens? There it is. There it is. And then you get the feeling, Vedana, irritable feeling, don't like it, and then flash, intention comes out, blame someone, something like that. Of course, it could be irritable feeling comes up, then intention soothes, steady, calm. You can turn it the other way, can't you? Someone who then understands this, recognizes how Vedana, feeling, is a trigger for Chetana, for volition, for intention, and impulse. And feeling doesn't just come from the body. Most of it comes, from perception. That is, she's insulting me. She's insulting me. That's a perception. He's being rude. That's a perception. It's not fair. That's a perception. Painful feeling, and then volition comes out. Right? Of course, with the perception, she's suffering. Oh, painful feeling. Oh, compassion comes out. There you see it. There's good karma, bad karma. Good karma, that which leads to, and there are consequences of karma, chetana. The volition goes out and it forms some kind of action that has results. Results because you incline towards someone else, they get affected by it. Also, your heart, the more you follow that, your heart acquires that pattern. So chetana is a sankhara, one of the sankharas. Nature is sankhara, is they carve patterns. It becomes habitual. Sankhara is the path creator. It creates paths, it forms. So the chitta takes that form, called a heart form, formation, because it's like it shapes the way the heart goes. The heart goes towards compassion or towards ill will. So that's chetana cuts the track, and then this lead sankhara's energy flows down it. That becomes established. So this then you get results. Heart goes that way. So we can see that in some instances, this is how we get addicted. People get addicted to gambling, for example. It means that they just can't resist it. You get that perception, could win money, I could win money. I could win some big money here. Yeah. Okay. Then flash out. The heart sees it, the eye sees things, the mind configures it, the heart follows that. I can win big money. And then all the chetana goes down that way. And I've known people like this, stuck in this, still poor, because, they're going to win big money. And they lost. Never mind. This horse is going to win, for sure. And sometimes they get it right. Sometimes it's right, just enough. But most of the time, they never really succeed. They don't understand. You're not succeeding. Because you see the thing you can get. Another friend of mine, he was a monk for many years, and then he disrobed, and he said he wanted to make a really good way to make a living, really good way. Some kind of all these great ideas, about kind of like, I know this special medicines, everybody's going to want. Say, borrow some money, get these special medicines, and nobody bought it. So he has to end up selling odds and ends on the market to just get by. They got another idea. I know I could make a big lot of money by selling. I know a great incense company in India. We could, yeah, that's it. I'll get this. Nobody bought it. Okay, still selling bits and pieces to survive. We could do it through future trading, trading in futures, trading, financial currency trading. That's the way we could do it. Didn't fail. And you think, you're going too far. This other monk, all disrobed, he said, well, I know how to fix computers. I know how to do it. I'll just do this. He knew how to do it. He could do it. And started fixing them. People, oh, yeah, he's good. Made a living, gradually developed, taking it right here and worked from what he knew already, and then gradually building it up without kind of the big idea. Take the idea small idea, steady practice. Let's take it slowly. Yeah. You see that impulse, it runs too far, it jumps too far, and it jumps too far beyond what we can really manage. And so we can, in meditation, you see the Buddha sits irresolute under the Bodhi tree, irresolute. Right, I'm going to sit irresolute, without wavering. But you've only been practicing for 3 days. The Buddha had this immense kind of parami lifetimes, and he could do it. So you think you've got to do it. No, you don't have to do it. The Buddha did it. But, you can just gratefully inherit the results of what he did. You don't have to do this. You can't live up to that standard. So people get very idealistic about meditation, and then it just end up straining, and then something snaps. Just do modest practice, steady practice. So you get the Cetana, the volition, just integrate into this. You start from where you are, not I'm stuck in this. No, this is your basis, and see if you can grow just a little bit in any direction. A little bit, work from here. And so you always say, just stay in this body, your body, learn how to operate it, learn how to enter it, learn how to steady yourself in it gradually, carefully, and then it's going to take you, it's going to lead on. Good karma is like that. It's steady, it's clear, it's not fantasy, it's not wild, it's modest, humble, but steady, because the sense is not, you don't want the big one-shot action. You want action that you can do every day. Because that's the best, is when you do long-term, not, 1 day or 1 hour big thing. You do 1,000 hours of small thing. That's what counts, because then you build up a whole, your citta is shaped by that. See, what you do repeatedly, that shapes the citta, that sets it up, that establishes, that's where it learns from. Not we only do once, what you do steady, regularly, modestly, but clearly, within what you can manage. right? The good karma. And then there's bad karma, mingled, where we do some things that are good intention, but with a bit of defilement mixed in with it. You know, you're trying to do something so your speech is a little bit deceitful because you think that's, you know, maybe I could do it that way. And aiming for the good thing, but you go in a slightly devious way. Whoops. So then you get then you get a chitta like a snake. Shapes like that. And what you do. And then the results. It's called vipaka, result. The results are what our chitta gets shaped by. You know, the results aren't out there somewhere. It's not like somebody's up in the sky making notes. You did this yesterday. Not so good. You'll pay for this. You know, when you die, you've got this is your list. You know, no, no, it's not happening there. It's happening. Your chitta is being shaped. So that's why you know, nobody else is going to judge you, but your chitta will is its own judgment. It's been shaped a certain way. Yeah, and now so we probably have not been. Every action has not necessarily been clean and pure, so the chitta's got some distortions in it. Some places where it slumps and falls down. Yeah, some places where so that's what you've got to start with. Vipaka of the chitta as it is, but don't think that's fixed. You can begin to stretch it, open it, relax it, strengthen it. This is called karma that leads to the end of karma. When you work directly on your chitta, it's karma that leads to the end of karma. You do action that 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 frees you from the old action, and also means that it comes to a place where action can stop. You can just peaceful. Yeah, this is because the nature of vipaka is both the shape and the inclination of the chitta. So if it's not steady and open, and then it kind of seeks fulfillment. So it's still got to do something. It's congested. It still needs to do something. So we've got to work some things out to free up the space. And the chitta, okay, that's clear. It feels satisfied and it can rest. Mm. Mm. You know, and then what can be freed up. There's another term, upadi, which means residue. It means the residues. So residues are, for example, we still have a physical body. The Buddha had a physical body. When he was old, his physical body was uncomfortable, painful. Not because he'd done a lot of bad karma, just because he had a physical body. That's the residue, you know. And he said, it's so uncomfortable, I can, you know, only way I can make it comfortable at all is just by going into deep samadhi. It's so uncomfortable. And then he ends up getting this horrible sickness, vomiting, diarrhea, you know. You know, so not because he'd done bad, because it's the nature of the body. And it's a really, you know, it's a kind of powerful teaching because it is so, it's not glorious. the Buddha didn't go out in a blaze of light or lot floating up into the sky. Buddha went out on the dirt under a tree, sick. Mm. Uh, so that residue, that's the residue. You still have this. So, what's possible? Well, we notice when the Buddha was even lying there, sick, couldn't hardly move, and bringing him water, he's still saying, please ask any questions, because I can't hold on much longer. I'm holding it together for your welfare. So please, you have any doubt, ask questions. If you're too shy, ask somebody else a question for you. I can't stay much longer. Make full use of me. It's, that chitta was pretty well shaped. And then he kind of says, that's it, I can't stop speaking. And then he goes into jhana. I mean, his chitta knew where to go. And then it goes to release because the residue is left behind. And his chitta is not constrained by that sickness and death. Padi, the residue is that. So it gives us it. So we have the other residues are consciousness. Means there'll be some sense of sight, sound, thought, taste, touch, smell. The ability to experience some sense of data, information coming in, either thought information or visual information. And this always is kind of like it's slightly irritating because this stuff keeps coming in. Some of it's interesting, a lot of it's just when you've had 80 years of it, I've seen enough. How much more is there in this tasting, seeing, so forth? It's not unpleasant, it's just like, you know. But so then they kind of can be impacted, impinged upon by that. So that gives rise to feeling, doesn't it? Contact. So that's a residue. Perception's a residue. And this formation is a residue. So it's still something's being formed, thoughts being formed, emotion is being formed. So, the Buddha's saying, okay, this body is racked with feeling, unpleasant feeling. Still had that residue, And he'd say, I need to lie down because my back is in such pain. So he still acted upon it. So that wasn't saying there's no such thing as feeling, or there's nobody here feeling anything. It's a not self, so nobody's feeling anything. But yet, so he's just dealing appropriately, but he wasn't complaining and feeling pity and feeling dejected, just saying, this is what you do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then when so he still has that. Then when his two chief disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana, passed away, he's with his great companions. They were the kind of they were the foundations, the chief support for the Sangha, and they both died before him. And he said, when I look around the Bhikkhu Sangha, it's like like looking in a forest and two great trees have fallen down, gone down. So the place looks empty without those two great beings, So he certainly knew what was going on. He wasn't, oh, well, it's just impermanent phenomenon. He knew what it meant. At the same time, he says, even this, even with all this, my chitta is not shaken. It's not shaken. Still, so you have those residues, perceptions, feeling, maybe emotion, some shimmering of that's not, that's sad. And yet I'm not in grief. I'm not broken by it. You see, so perception, what's happening is that emotional reaction of the where things start building up, where you get the proliferation, where you get the entanglement. Oh no, it's terrible. My friends have died. What we can do now? I don't know. I was hoping they'd last longer. The Sangha's going to fall apart. I don't know what's going to happen. What good does that do? What good does that do? But for most people, they can't control it. It just runs out, even though they know it's stupid. It's like gambling. You just keep doing it because the chitta is just kind of gone in that way. We've let it go in that way, so it keeps doing that, doing things that are of no use, just stirred up by that perception and feeling. So the Buddha's, yes, he feels, yes, he knows, yes, he understands this is sad, but that's it. Terminates there. Because says, how could it be? How could it be otherwise? Whatever's born dies. And that's what he said to his disciple Ananda. He said, Ananda, I'm dying. Ananda's weeping, holding on to the doorpost to hold himself up. He's so broken. And the Buddha says, Ananda, you're a bit very faithful. Keep practicing. But have I not told you? Whatever is born must die. And everybody knows it, but emotionally, you can't bear it. It just runs out. That's what we let it do into what should be and could be and isn't, and why and where and whose fault it is and what I'm going to do next. What you do next is stop, take a breath, breathe out. Here we are. Collect yourself, collect yourself, collect the heart, bring it in. You need it to be here and strong. Then you can not shake and break. This is karma that leads to the end of karma, because at that moment, your chitta is not running out, generating this and that and this and that and this and that. That's karma, right? That's karma. When there's the volition, the impulse breaks loose, like something, like a creature that's running wild. It just runs out. Yeah. And then it does have effects. And the effects are, that's what you let it do. That's what it's going to continue to do. So it's not a matter of not feeling anything, yeah, or not doing anything. If there's something you can do, it's useful, you do it. When you can't, you don't. And rather than getting into grief and frustration, collect his chitta. Where upekkha. Upekkha is so important, isn't it? Because with upekkha, we know some things we can do, some things we can't do, some things are a problem, this, that. We're not sinking down into grief or getting excited about good or getting broken down by the bad. Just change, stay. There's a time you can do it. Get to the end of the doing, stop. Karma ending of fresh action of the heart, right? So it doesn't mean we're going to be frozen immobile in our bodies or just not feeling anything. But that movement of the heart where karma arises, that's something you can check and drop. Then when intention, volition is held like that carefully, with wisdom, there's enough of this. Drop. Then silence, openness. World of the future disappears. World of me and them disappears. The world of what I should be and could be disappears. It's just this. So this is kind of the unbinding. That is the word, is what Nibbana means, unbinding. So karma is just really right here. And Nibbana is really right here. Now we may think karma is some incredible thing weighing down on me from thousands of lifetimes ago. Oh God, I've got to do so much, 5 lifetimes of this to just burn out the bad karma before I even get started. It puts it outside, doesn't it? To some imagine world. And you get it right here where you can actually tackle it. And you see, the thinking about who you were in the past. Why do you do that? Because I can't stop doing it. So this is a residue. You don't want the residues to keep pushing new karma. You have a choice. The residues, yes, there was a past. Yes, you have this. Are you allowing that to generate fresh action without any reservation, any guidance, any supervision, any wisdom? You're letting old habits continue without any supervision. Can't you be responsible? And at first we can't. It's like we're like babies. They can't help it. They scream, they cry, they urinate wherever. You can't do anything about it. They can't do it. But as they grow up, say, look, you're 15 years old. It's time to pull it together. So, yeah, but of course, most people get together quite a bit before then, but they don't get it all together. You see, people ruling countries who still behave like 3-year-olds, still can't govern their minds, still can't govern their emotions. You can govern a body. That takes maybe a year or two, really, to cover 2 or 3 years. But to have supervision over your emotions, sometimes you'll never do that through their entire life. And that's where karma comes from, not from this body. It's just chitta. So mm, and then this is where you begin. Where's that going? And you're never going to be damaged by just at least asking the question. That's neither approving, it's not saying yes, not saying no, it's just saying, can I just give that a moment to review it? How does it feel? Where's it going? Have you been here before? I've done this many times. Where did it go? Yeah. You want to do it again? No, not really. Enough. It's that simple. But it's also you've got to have a fairly right here perspective and have some sense of being pretty constant, mindful of the chitta. Yeah, right. Mindful of the chitta in its actions. Yeah. So in the satipatthana, you have established the foundation, body, internally, externally. This body here, this body as it feels external phenomena impinging on it. Feeling as it's generated internally, feeling as it comes from phenomena outside. And citta as it responds to its own issues and states, citta as it responds to stuff happening around it. So you establish sati, and sati says, okay, your citta is feeling uncomfortable because you have jet lag, or you have a headache, or you have a painful memory. That's an internal state. Right? Be mindful. You don't have to act upon it, or you maybe need to respond to it, steady it, calm it, soothe it, restrain it, brighten it. Yeah. Sati says there's a boundary here. And now we establish that, and then we work within that boundary. And then Citta says, okay, people are doing this to me, they're doing that to me, I'm enjoying them, and I'm not enjoying it. Okay, boundary, feeling, impression, perceptions. What are your reactions to that? What are your reactions to that? That's what you can have some say over. What other people do and say, you don't have much control over. What other people think of you, you don't really have much control over. Then how much of our attention goes into being affected by what other people do and say, and by worrying what other people think about us? I can't do this because she might not like it. Well, are you being harmful, abusive, deceitful? No, I'm just being honest, but she might not like it. Uh-huh. Well, that's, when's the time and the place to be careful, steady, but truthful? Sister, what you're doing there, I find that's really quite uncomfortable. Doesn't seem appropriate to me. Criticizing me, I do the best I can. Sister, I'm just seeking your welfare. And eventually it's, oh, you're right. So we all make mistakes, don't we? And one of the cultivations that is encouraged in monastic training is to be able to we both acknowledge our flaws consciously, offences. But also he said, I make invitation. It's called pavarana. I make invitation, which means I invite you to give me correction. Things I don't see, I invite you. Please give me correction. And nobody likes it. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. Okay, thank you. Right. And you feel a bit guilty. And say, no, it's over. Just, we all make, and it's clear. And the Buddha said, if you don't get correction, it's like you're starving somebody. Mhm. He said, there are people who you don't require, just mean a slight hint. Jeff, just see that? Oh, yeah, got it. Just a slight hint. Some you've got to say, look, do you notice you've done that 3 times? You see the results? What, me? Yeah, you. Oh, nobody told me that. Well, you're supposed to keep your eyes open. And then some people, he says, you've really got to hammer it down. And he said, other times, you just give up. And he says, the worst you can do to somebody is give up. That's the worst punishment. When they don't think you're even worth bothering with. It's called death. Mm. So it's a very Buddha, powerful teacher. Powerful teacher. Mm. Just realizing, karma is serious stuff. If you've got a little child who's about to drink a bottle of poison, do you say, sweetie, what do you think about that? Do you think maybe, no, you say, stop it. You grab the poison bottle away. Whether they scream or not, you still drag it away. Don't you? So sometimes it's not that pleasant, but you saved my life. Could have done some damage there. So one is then always that when you get this understanding, then you're ready. Okay, I do make mistakes. I do say things that just slipped out because I've got residue. I've got habit. And it just happens. Please, could you help me? And how can I deal with this? So it's then this is Kalyanamita. Mm. Mm. So then when we coming into sitting still or in silence, when we're not talking to each other and so forth, and then the cultivating skillful karma in a very steady way, like this is good intention. It's not casual, it's not frantic, it's steady, clear intentionality, it's patient. It's all this parami of being gathered together is, accuracy, discernment, is patience, is goodwill coming right into this form. And then the samadhi that arises from that is supple and strong. Now you can get glass samadhi. Glass samadhi is quite fine, but it shatters easy. This is when you get samadhi just through doing some technique in a special refined situation when nobody's bothering you and it's super quiet, there's air conditioning, there's no mosquitoes to allow, the food is exactly what you want, the temperature is what you want, the cushions are what you want, there's nobody else around to bother you, and you get glass samadhi. So like this, wow, I got my samadhi. And then And somebody's closed the door, shattered. So I was getting really good, really fine. It's fine, it's exquisite, beautiful, but it's just got no resilience to it. You know? Then you get kind of rock samadhi. Rock samadhi is just so yeah, it seems pretty solid. I got rock like samadhi, but there's no wisdom in it. No wisdom in it. And people get very, very fascinated by these because beautiful, refined, glistening, clear samadhi. This is it. I'm there. I must be anagami at least by now. You get dazzled by what the chitta can do. Yeah. Mm. And so is this Ajahn Mun. Ajahn Mun, the great forest teacher, and one of his disciples, Ajahn Mahabua, was also a very great teacher, renowned. And Ajahn Mahabua was the disciple of Ajahn Mun. And Ajahn Mahabua, he'd been a fighter, been a boxer, he had a lot of strong willpower. So he could get really good, get his mind really concentrated and strong. It's kind of really stuck, really good and stuck. And they're saying to Ajahn Mun, my samadhi's strong. And Ajahn Mun said, yeah, well, it sounds like a bit of meat stuck between my teeth. That's just like your samadhi. And Ajahn Mun said, I could have killed him. I was so proud of my samadhi, I could have killed him. If it hadn't been Ajahn Mun, I'd have killed him. They said, don't get fascinated by that. You want to get more wisdom in it. Yeah. Walk up and down, do more walking. Reflect, consider things, turn it over. Yeah. So then and the Buddha said the samadhi that arises from walking lasts a long time. It's not glass. It's fluid. It's not rock. But then you notice within that collected, you notice states arise, and you can turn with discernment. Of course, you don't have to just use walking. But okay, so what's the obvious thing? You want samadhi that's supple, strong, fluid. Okay. Now, what do you know that's like that? This body, right? It's strong, it's got bone, it's supple, it's got muscle, it's fluid, it breathes in and out, it's sensitive. Make your samadhi like a body. How do you do that? By deliberately bringing your chitta within, not just the body as an idea, but as a living, feeling quality. Then your chitta gets into the shape, not of the anatomical body, but of the life force in the body as it's flowing, and it begins to get into that shape because that's the mold you're putting it into. And that shape, it's not just the shape, it's got responsiveness, sensitivity, pleasure, and it's got firmness and groundedness. Where does that come from? Because it's the innate beneficial aspect of embodiment. Mm. And so we use this to get out of this. Isn't it strange? Mm. Mm. And so what you so you and then even though the mind, the chitta gets collected, it doesn't lose that sensitivity because rather than just nailing it onto a point where it'll get hard, rock-like, you keep it following a movement, breathing. very gently, pulsing, warmth, flowing. Then the samadhi's always got that kind of supple, and it's discerning. It's discerning. This is right. This is excited. This is peaceful. This is leaning on something. This is grabbing something. And you begin to detect these subtle inclinations that happen. And then this is the release of that. This is the release of that. And that's how we, these residual habits to grasp, to attain, to become something. These residual habits can be, the citta can step out of it. So practicing this way, the Buddha has said the Tathagata, that's why he referred to himself as the Tathagata, the thus one who has gone, thus one who has arrived thus into suchness, lives with unrestricted citta. His citta is unrestricted by form, not restricted by consciousness, not restricted by feeling, not restricted by perception, not restricted by sankhara, not restricted by aging, sickness, death, not restricted by defilement, not restricted by suffering and stress. The Tathagata dwells with unrestricted citta. Yeah, for sure, death happens. Yeah, there's feeling. But the citta is no longer being shaped by it. Therefore, it is released from those shape. When it's released from these shapes, you can't. What is it? Where is it? You can't. Right, where's the space? How big is it? Small? Where did the space go? What are you talking about? You can't. But it's peaceful. The activations aren't happening. The perceptions aren't driving you. And then, yeah. Now, if we, cultivate and we even get to some sense, any old habit is no longer pushing me, then we've done some good stuff. We've done some good work. Even if one sense of anxiety has passed away, we've done some good work. If one feeling of blaming yourself or blaming others has stopped, you've done some good work. And some things have ended, and what's come in is parami, virtue, strength, skill. This you can be really sure, and you can know it in yourself. You can know it in yourself. This is the way we get this. Our saddha is encouraged, our vigor is encouraged, and we continue to cultivate for our welfare.